How's it going, everybody? It's Polyflame and we are back with another FPL video. Today I got my Christmas haircut going on here. I look like a wildebeest the past few weeks. So we got it cleaned up for you because obviously you gotta look nice on Christmas. But anyways, we're going into game week 19. My team is up on the screen there. Let me actually just slightly adjust it. The FPL site slightly changed, so I had to change the format a little bit. They put this weird bar on the top. You can't see it on the actual overlay, but it's it's a white bar that goes like along the bottom of the tabs across the top. But anyways, we got it all sorted. That's the team up on the screen. Let's get into our usual here. These were the fixtures that we saw from last week for the game week there. So let's get right into it as we usually do. 3 points for a correct guess on the result. 1 point if we get the result just right but not the correct score, and then 0 points if we get nothing. So if we bring across our handy dandy little tweet here, that's what we had from before. Alright, so Everton Arsenal, we got the result right, but we didn't get the exact score. It ended up being a no-no. Pretty boring game because both managers were in the stands, but they weren't with the team, so they were just with the executives. So we got the result right, so we get 1 point for that. Aston Villa, I said 2-1 to Southampton. That was incorrect, so we get 0 points for that. Burnley 1-0 over Bournemouth. We said 2-0, so we only get 1 point there. Brighton Sheffield United, I said it was going to be a 1-1. Sheffield United actually won, so we get 0 there. My zeros are awful, but that's fine. Newcastle Crystal Palace, that'll be a 1-1 draw, and it'll be a 1-0 for Newcastle there. That was a bit of a surprise. I said Wolves will win 2-1 over Norwich. They didn't keep the clean sheet. Norwich did end up scoring, so it was 2-0, so we get 1 point for that. 2-1 in favor of Manchester City over Leicester. Man City ended up winning 3-1, so we get 1 point for that. I already know the score of this game, and it was definitely not 2-1 Manchester United, so we get no points for that. Awful performance there. I'm just going to put it as a big blotch there because it's bad. And then we said 3-1 for Spurs, which ended up being a 0 there. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 points total for that. Clean sheet for Wolves. Well, that didn't happen. Matt Ryan, I don't believe he did well enough. I mean, he didn't keep a clean sheet, which is the one thing that I was probably expecting. If we look down here, we see that Ryan only ended up making 1 save, so he ended up with 2 points anyway. So again, nothing really going there. Wolves didn't keep a clean sheet, and I don't believe Johnny got any of the assists either. He actually picked up a yellow card, which is even worse. So again, not showing too much promise there. Jack Grealish was involved in one of their goal. I believe he scored it. He did. So that was a good call. And then last but not least, Mapai for Brighton. They didn't score, so didn't do too hot. So we only got 1 out of 5 there. So a very rough game week overall. Very rough game week. So that's one of our lower score totals again, which I'll have to note down here. We actually matched last week, so not very good at guessing the last couple of weeks. So hopefully we can pick that up. So what are the surprises here? Well, there was really no surprise in the Everton Arsenal game. We were expecting them both to be bad. Both managers aren't in charge yet, so it was a really nothing game there. Bournemouth continuing to just be absolutely terrible. We pretty much predicted that. Expected more out of Aston Villa, and Southampton seem to be picking up their game, so that could be interesting to look forward there. Obviously, with the tougher fixtures coming up, we don't expect Southampton to do much, but who knows? They might be able to snag a few points there. Sheffield United showing that they are very resilient. Brighton obviously playing a good style of football, which favors into Sheffield United's style of play with their counterattack. City beating Leicester. I thought Leicester was going to look a little bit more, like impose themselves a bit more in the game, but City obviously showing why they're two-time champions. Wolves obviously getting a result for themselves. Pretty typical there. I think the biggest shockers was Chelsea beating Spurs. Obviously Lampard getting a 1-up over Mourinho. And Watford obviously beating United. A lot of people expected, United should probably be beating the team at the bottom of the league. Yeah. So unfortunate stuff there. So let's go up and look at how the team did overall. If I can get this just right up on the screen, I can. So we have Ramsdale in goal. Obviously, we would have liked Dean Henderson's 12 points because he got an assist as well because he lumped up a long ball and that was their one goal that they scored. So yeah, should have probably not trusted the Bournemouth goalkeeper, but we're gonna have to trust him not next week, but the 2 game weeks after, because Sheffield United plays some pretty tough opposition. So Lundstrom obviously getting the clean sheet, very good. Had to play one of the Leicester defenders. We ended up picking the one that didn't give up as many points. Obviously, Dendoncker was better than Pereira or Rico. Bournemouth conceding late. It was very bad. In about a 10-minute span, we lost, I want to say, 3 clean sheets. So it would have been 1 point off Zaha, 4 points off Kelly, 4 points off Rico, 4 points off Ramsdale, which is that's what happens when you have double defense. But it is what it is. Like I said, Zaha only getting 2 points. He did have an attempt that was quite close, but it's not as, just not really showing much, not really being able to break down Newcastle. Mason Mount keeping a clean sheet, so getting 3 points, but again, not being involved, even though both him and Abraham, a bunch of them both here, played really well in the game. They worked hard, they were tirelessly running around, chasing after the ball. And when they did get it, they looked pretty dangerous. They just didn't get anything from it, unfortunately. De Bruyne getting an assist. He picked up a yellow card for dissent against from the ref. But yeah, De Bruyne is obviously doing what De Bruyne does. Vardy obviously getting a goal, so probably would have been better to captain him. But again, we just have Vardy in there. We wanted Kane in there as the captain because we thought that Kane was more likely to get something versus Chelsea, considering he was also home. Didn't pan out, but then again, could have been worse. I could have captained Son, which a lot of people are desperately moving him out now. So obviously the hindsight changes would have been Dendoncker in for one of our defenders that scored 1 point, and then obviously Henderson in for Ramsdale, which would have netted us 11 points. And had we captained Vardy, we would have got an additional 7 points, so we would have been 18 points up. So if we look at the average points there, just at the top of the screen, it was 38 points, so we would have been 18 points up, which would have put us at 46, 54, so we would have been okay. But again, got quite unlucky with our choices, but that's the name of the game. Now, if we move on to the fixtures for this week, let's bring across our little notepad there. I'm also out of the cup as well. We lost in the first game week, so not really paying attention to that. We lost by 1 point to a guy that, like I said, 5 million in the world. So Tottenham versus Brighton. I would hope Spurs can come back from this. I'm going to say that they should beat Brighton. Brighton didn't look like they were as sharp as what they were against Sheffield United. I think Spurs will have to start Eriksen. Obviously, the threat of Son won't be there, but they'll have to play Eriksen in the team. Maybe push Ali out to a wide position. Maybe put Eriksen out there. Who knows? But they'll probably play Eriksen, and they should start on Dembele over Dyer. But Mourinho likes his static players, so we'll have to see. But I think Spurs should be quite comfortable in this one. I think they'll also keep a clean sheet as well. I think it's going to be 2-0. Aston Villa versus Norwich. Norwich obviously showing that they could score versus Wolves. Wolves getting a bit caught out on that goal, but showing that they were just, in the end, just much better team, much better side than Norwich. I think Aston Villa should beat Norwich, especially considering they're home. I think it'll still be somewhat close, so I think 2-1 is probably a fair result. You know what? I'm going to go 2-0. I think they should keep a clean sheet. I think Norwich are very fortunate to get that one goal that they did versus Wolves, but again, that's just an opinion. Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Well, I should hope Arsenal beats Bournemouth because Bournemouth are terrible. Whether they keep a clean sheet or not is probably a different story, but Bournemouth can't even score. So If there's any team that can that'll concede a goal, it'll probably be Arsenal. But I think Arsenal should win this game, and I think they'll win it in pretty easy fashion, than 3-1. Chelsea versus Southampton. Chelsea obviously coming off a great win versus Spurs. Looked really in control of the game, kept a clean sheet. No real threat. There was the one shot in the first half by Harry Kane and one in the second half by Kane as well. Both of them were somewhat close. You probably should have done a little bit better with them, but overall, not really much threat on their goal. Southampton have been playing quite well. I think this could be quite a close contest. I'm actually going to go with a 2-1 victory for Chelsea in a cagey affair on Boxing Day. Crystal Palace versus West Ham. Now, Palace obviously coming off a loss from Newcastle. I think that West Ham, in the results that they have been getting, are they really deserved? I'm not really too sure. I think Crystal Palace should find it easy to play against West Ham because West Ham like to try to attack, which favors Crystal Palace's very pacey forwards in Jordan Ayew and Wilfred Zaha. So I think this should be quite an easy fixture for Crystal Palace. I'm actually going to go for a 2-0. I think they'll keep a clean sheet as well. Everton versus Burnley. Obviously, Carlo Ancelotti is now in charge, and he is at home to Burnley. So we're going to be looking at a game where I think Everton should just be in quite control over the whole game. I don't think Burnley's going to pose that much of a threat, especially away from home. They'll probably do what they normally do, which is just sit back and try to absorb pressure. I think Everton should win this game. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. I think Burnley will probably get a set piece or something like they always do, and get a goal off of that. So 2-1 is probably a fair scoreline. Sheffield United versus Watford. Watford are going to try to play. Sheffield United will probably be able to stifle them. Watford's 2 goals versus United were pretty lucky. Obviously, De Gea making the mistake, as well as the penalty, which is Wan-Bissaka's 1 out of 10,000 tackles that he got wrong. But I think Sheffield United could win this in typical Sheffield United fashion. I think it could be a 1-0. Manchester United versus Newcastle. Well, United has to win this game, so I'm going to predict a win for United. If they can't get up for this on Boxing Day at Old Trafford, then you might as well give up now. I mean, it seems like there's things can come out in the press where the management, especially Solskjaer, is basically kind of written off this season as they want to get the team together or something like that. Not too sure how it's going to be how they worded it exactly, but it's just been some things have been coming out that are just really weird. I've never seen this kind of downing of expectations from a manager that's supposed to be quite positive. Obviously, it was under Mourinho that this happened, and it seems like just the upper levels of the club. So we're talking board level, we're talking financial level, we're talking owner level, are basically lowering our expectations, which is not something we should want as a global entity in Manchester United. But I think United should win this game. They'll probably, if they're going to win it, it's going to be 2-1. United can't keep a clean sheet, so. And Newcastle will probably find a way to get a set piece and score. Leicester versus Liverpool. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Liverpool are going to drop points for the first time this year. And when I mean drop points, I mean drop all their points. I think Leicester are going to win this game. I think it's going to be 2-1. I think when you play the way Liverpool have been playing, I think that it favors Leicester's playstyle. If you try to just grind out the result, Leicester can find a way and potentially nick a goal early. Liverpool have to obviously come out of their shell a little bit, which could then help Leicester out as well. Whereas someone like City, they basically conceded and they said, okay, well, we just have to put more firepower into the game and we'll basically just blow them out of the water, which is what they did. And I think this could, this type of playstyles, Liverpool has not been what they've been doing. Man City have still played the most attractive football they did last season, but it was a lot closer with Liverpool. But now Liverpool's been kind of more grinding out results. Also, the trips to Qatar may have made them a bit more on the, lax side. Maybe it's a bit more strenuous with the travel, and especially they're also away from home as well. I think Leicester could potentially pull something out of this one, so I'm going to go with a Leicester 2-1 win. Wolves versus Man City. Wolves getting the better Man City last time. I don't think this is going to be the case this time. City will basically, it'll be a rewrite of what they did to Leicester. They may go down a goal early, but then City will basically just be too much for Wolves. So I think that's how we're gonna predict the scores there. Obviously, some opinionated ones there, but again, that's all in good fun. For clean sheets, I think it's going to be. I put Man United there, but I think I meant to put Crystal Palace. Or was it Aston Villa? I can't remember. Well, we'll change that. I do think United will concede to Newcastle, so that doesn't make sense to have a clean sheet there. Actually, you know what? Let's back Aston Villa. We'll back Aston Villa there for the clean sheet. I don't think Norwich will get a goal. I think Aston Villa will be a bit stronger. They'll be up for the game at home on Boxing Day, so yeah, we'll go with that. And obviously with that comes Heaton. Yeah, I probably meant to put Aston Villa there. Heaton for Aston Villa in goal. Probably going to get a few saves for sure. You know, taking in shots from Pookie and Cantwell and guys like that. But overall, probably should be a comfortable game for Aston Villa if they're looking to basically stay out of the relegation battle. In defense, I'm actually going with Patrick Van Aanholt from Crystal Palace. Obviously, West Ham not very good defensively. Crystal Palace are at home. He's just recently come back off an injury, had some minutes under his belt last game out to Newcastle. And could potentially be a threat going forward, especially with the likes of West Ham who try to attack and then not very good defensively. So potentially a good pick there. Eriksen, we mentioned him before for Spurs. He's almost certainly going to play. Especially with the likes of Son being suspended for the next 3 games. They are appealing Son's red card, but he blatantly kicks out. It was stupidity on his part. And he's probably going to be suspended for the game versus Brighton on Boxing Day. So I think Eriksen's going to definitely be involved. And it shows when every time Eriksen comes on the field, he looks like he's a bit, he adds a little bit of something that Spurs are kind of missing. And then lastly, we picked McBurney here for Sheffield United. I think he's going to be quite a threat versus Watford. He's been, getting some goals for himself recently, especially with Mousset was out injured. I believe Mousset is back, but they could also form a potential partnership of a 2 up front. It'll depend, but yeah, McBurney's been looking quite good. He may be a little differential for a 5 million or around that price bracket forward for the team. So that's going to do it for those. Now, if we look at current team, we've made our transfers already. We did it because we had potential price rises that we wanted to capture. Let me just make sure I get this exactly right on the screen. There we go. So this is the team that we're kind of looking at the moment. The captain may change, but I'm pretty certain I'm going to keep it on Kane. Unfortunately, I don't like my captain to be the first game of the day. Unfortunately, I think Kane is potentially one of the better captain choices. Vardy may also be a good captain choice, especially since I've said that they are going to win versus Liverpool. But yeah, let's run down the team. So we got double Sheffield United defense with Dean Henderson in goal and Lundstrom in defense at home to Watford. We're not playing Ramsdale because Bournemouth are awful, and if there's any team that's going to probably be up for their manager this week, it's either going to be Arsenal or Everton, and Ramsdale's versus Arsenal. Patrick Van Aanholt and Kelly are in there. We brought in Van Aanholt for the suspended Rico. Rico has picked up 5 yellow cards, which means he's suspended for the next game. And it was we had some pretty exact money, or very close to it, so I said, hey, why not? So I think the double defense could be quite good. I'm really banking on Crystal Palace to play well, and also if we look at their next few fixtures, West Ham at home, Southampton away, Norwich away, these could be all pretty good fixtures. Even like Arsenal at home could be quite good if Arsenal's still not settled. Man City away is obviously not very good, but then they have obviously a great run of fixtures again. So the real only bad one is the Man City away fixture, but overall looking quite good. If we look at Patrick Van Aanholt, obviously only 6% owned, so let's say if he gets a goal clean sheet or assist clean sheet, something like that, we obviously get nice points there, where someone like Kelly is obviously 32% owned, and people are probably going to be playing him this week. Obviously, we have Sadio Mane in the team, so in our 2-1 prediction, we obviously hope that Mane is the one that gets the goal. So yeah, we'll have him. Obviously, our 2 Leicester defenders are as far back on the bench as possible, because we still think that Liverpool can score. However, we still think that Leicester are going to win, but hopefully it's just like the ball drops to Jamie Vardy and he scores twice. That would be nice. We mentioned Wilfred Zaha, obviously potentially getting the space he requires against West Ham. Hopefully that pays off. It seems like a stylistic mismatch for West Ham. I think Crystal Palace should be heavily favored in this game and should do quite well. Jack Grealish was the other player that we brought in. We got rid of Mason Mount, who we've already lost money on. He was 6.6 and went down to 6.5 before we got rid of him. We got Jack Grealish in before the price increase. And if we look at Aston Villa's fixtures, Norwich at home, Watford away, Burnley away, some pretty solid fixtures there. Manchester City at home could still be a place where Jack Grealish is able to score. Brighton away could score there. Watford at home, easy game to score in, and Bournemouth away. So all of these fixtures are relatively solid for the attacking side of things. Jack Grealish obviously only being slightly cheaper than Mason Mount, but obviously Mason Mount's fixtures, if we just look at Tammy Abraham's, obviously Arsenal away, not the easiest fixture in the world. Arsenal tend to beat Chelsea. Brighton away can be a tricky one. Burnley at home should be fine. Newcastle away is always tricky, and then obviously really bad fixtures. Here, obviously Leicester away is terrible. They haven't really done anything to United this season. Tottenham at home could be good because they obviously beat them. Arsenal at home, again, Arsenal seems to always favor the number. Maybe not necessarily at the bridge, but again, the fixtures kind of get a bit up and down there. So, and then we have Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, we're keeping him. He's obviously done quite well for us. If we look at recently over the last 5 game weeks, he's gotten 10, 3, 1, 19, and 4. Obviously, these two being the standouts. Obviously, got an assist in the last game. We hope that he's able to unlock Wolves because he's probably going to be the one that has to do so for us. So we're going to have to basically pay attention to that. And then lastly, we obviously have Kane as captain. There's considerations for Abraham, considerations for Vardy, considering he scores against the top 6, and we predicted Leicester to beat Liverpool. Potentially a captaincy's choice for Zaha or Grealish, considering they're home against weaker defensive opposition. But I think Kane makes the most sense, even though I don't like captaining the person that plays first in the game week, because then if he does nothing, then you're always worried about what other captains are doing. And then we have obviously the bench plays itself out. We have obviously Ramsdale as our backup goalkeeper. We put Dendoncker first over our two Leicester defenders. I still think Liverpool will score at some point during the game, and then Pereira Soyuncu will probably end up getting a yellow card because it'll be a game that Liverpool will want to win, even though I don't think that will be the case. So yeah, that's kind of the team there. When I was thinking about the transfers, I was thinking, what can we do to potentially shore up the defense as well as kind of make the funds a little bit more spread out. We obviously brought in Van Aanholt with Palace's fixtures. These could all be clean sheets here. Arsenal at home could potentially be a clean sheet as well, easily, if Arsenal aren't fully set in. Obviously, like I said, the Manchester City away game is not great, and obviously with Van Aanholt, he's always good potentially going forward. So, and Palace have shown that they've had some type of resilience versus Man City as well. So, could be something that could be quite good for them. In terms of the value, we'll check the value on the team. So we had 0.1, and then if we look at if I can get it all on one screen here, I might be able to. No, I can't get it all on one screen. I'll have to scroll. But yeah, so Henderson, we've gotten value on him. Ramsdale, I believe he went down. He was at 4.7, or maybe he ended up at 4.6. I think he was. Van Aanholt, we got him in at base price. Kelly, we've gotten 0.1 on him, because we brought him in later than everyone else did at 4.1. Pereira, we've gotten value on him. If he goes up once more, then we'll get an additional one. Soyuncu, we have perfect value on him too. Lundstrom's obviously not going anywhere at all. We got the 0.1 on Grealish for the price rise. Zaha's doing quite well for us. Same with Sadio Mane, Kevin De Bruyne. Dendoncker stayed at 4.4. We got a 0.1 on Kane, which is quite nice. So if Kane does well this week, then people will be looking to bring him in, which will increase his value. And we brought Tammy Abraham back in for 7.9. He went up to 8.0 and then went back down again. So we'll just have to keep them as is. But yeah, we spent our 2 transfers. We used 0 transfers last week, and we dropped in rank by around... Actually, let's go check that out. If we go to Gameweek history. This is quite a neat page here. So we were at 55k and we dropped 30k places. It was even worse than that before the Sunday games took place. I was in like the 100 and something Ks, which is something we haven't seen since uh, way back in Gameweek 9. So yeah, hopefully we look to make sure that those don't happen again. But yeah, well, looking good, and then obviously the overall points. The game week points was it the worst that we've done this season? 36. Yeah, it was. It was our worst game week possible, and I kind of figured it was gonna happen. I figured that we would probably not get very many points, and obviously, you know, one decision here, one decision there could have been a completely different ball game. But yeah, this is probably going to be my team here. I think Kane captain makes the most sense. Um, you know, Jamie Vardy is also a viable option. Same with Tammy Abraham, considering how well they play. Tammy Abraham was actually ruled out of a goal as well because he was offside. Yeah, I just want the whole team to score points. If everyone gets a goal like they should, then it should be okay. Vardy can score against top 6. Abraham should score. Zaha should score. You know, Kane should score. You know, and then it'll be all fine and dandy. So that's going to do it for this week. I wanted to do this definitely before the Christmas period. Hopefully everyone enjoys their holiday, and if you're in the UK, obviously a good Boxing Day for all of the matches as well. So yeah, that's going to do it for this week. I'll post my team and my predictions as I normally do. Pilot Flame 226. Make sure to leave a like on the video when it goes up on YouTube, and follow the stream if you don't. We always typically do it a day or two before the actual fixtures commence. In terms of the next stream, I believe I'm going to do it on... It might have to be on Boxing Day, actually. So the next fixtures... No, I can do it on the 27th. Yeah, I'll have to do it after the City game in that afternoon, because they play on the Friday, and the next fixtures start on the Saturday. So yeah, I'll have to do it on the Friday, day after Boxing Day. So we'll be back in 3 days' time, and then after that we will probably do it on the Monday after the game's on the Sunday, 2 days before New Year's Day. So yeah, that's going to do it for this week. Just a final look at the team. We got Henderson and Lundstrom at home to Watford. Van Arnhold, Kelly, and Zaha all in against West Ham at home. Mane is up against the Vardy's Leicester City away from home. Vardy is at home, and he's our vice captain. We have Jack Grealish at home to Norwich. We have Kevin De Bruyne away to Wolves. We have Abraham at home to Southampton. We have Kane captained at home to Brighton, with Ramsdale, Dendoncker, Pereira, Soyuncu in that order on our bench. That's going to do it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to follow the channel, leave a like on the video, and let us know what your teams are and who you're captaining this week. It'd be very interesting to see, especially considering Vardy's record versus the top 6. Alright, so wherever you are in the world, have a good day, have a good night, enjoy your holidays, enjoy the New Year's, all that good stuff if you don't see me before then. And until then, see you in the next one. Take care.